We're diving into a 1976 D Mint Mark Washington quarter that recently sold for a jaw-dropping $91,000. Yep, you heard me right, 91 grand for a coin most people used to buy a soda from a vending machine. Now, if you're like me, you're probably sprinting to check the change jar or flipping your couch cushions. Don't worry, we're gonna break it all down, so stick around, because by the end of this video you're gonna know exactly what to look for and how one ordinary-looking coin could be your ticket to a payday that'll make your friends think you're a magician. Alright, so let's talk about the 1976 D Washington quarter. First off, this quarter was released to celebrate America's 200th birthday, so it's what we call a bicentennial coin. You can spot it right away because it's got 1776 to 1976 stamped on the front instead of just the usual year. Now, here's a fun twist. Instead of the regular eagle on the back, the reverse design shows a colonial drummer and a torch surrounded by 13 stars. Kind of makes you want to salute it every time you flip it over, right? But not all these bicentennial quarters are created equal. The one that sold for $91,000 had some spicy details. It was struck in Denver, which you'll know by the little D Mint mark on the front right next to Washington's ponytail. The reason this one pulled such a huge number at auction was because it was in pristine condition. It was graded MS68, which basically means this thing was cleaner than your grandma's good china. Not a scratch, not a fingerprint, just shiny, glorious perfection. And believe it or not, high-grade coins like this are incredibly rare because most quarters get beat up faster than your phone charger. Here's where it gets fun. I actually found one of these bicentennial quarters in my junk drawer last year. I got all hyped up thinking I'd stumbled onto a gold mine. I raced to Google, then to a coin grading website, then to my phone to text literally everyone I know. Spoiler alert. Mine was so scratched up it looked like it had been to war. Still worth more than a quarter, but definitely not 91K. But hey, now I know what to look for, and so do you. So what makes these coins valuable besides the mint condition? Well, errors, my friend. Glorious mint errors. Think double dies, off-center strikes, or wrong planchet coins. If you find a bicentennial quarter with a mint error, especially from Denver, you might just be sitting on a jackpot. Another thing to keep in mind is the metal composition. Some special edition versions were struck in 40% silver, and those are already worth more than face value even without the crazy rare status. And you know what else helps rarity? Most of these 1976 quarters were heavily circulated and nobody was thinking about saving them in gem condition back then. So now if you've got one that's flawless or even close to flawless, boom, serious collector interest. Alright, coin fam, let's bring it home. If you've got a 1976 D Mint Mark quarter lying around, don't just chuck it in the parking meter. Take a good long look at it, check for that D Mint mark, inspect it for any weird looking details or errors, and if it looks super clean with sharp detail, you just might want to get it professionally graded. Who knows, your spare change could turn into a new car or a trip to anywhere but work. And hey, if you enjoyed this video and want more coin tips, more laughs, and more ways to make money off coins you already have, be sure to smash that subscribe button, give this video a like, and drop a comment if you've ever found a cool coin or made money from one. I want to hear your story. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay collecting. And remember, sometimes the biggest treasures are hiding in plain sight, like that quarter sitting in your cup holder right now. What if I told you that one little quarter from 1965 with no mint mark could be worth up to $91,000? Yep, that's right, one quarter, 4 quarters short of $1, is now worth more than most used cars. So how the heck did a plain old 1965 quarter end up being worth a small fortune? Stick around, because I'm going to break it all down, share a little personal story about the time I almost threw one away, and show you what to look for so you don't miss out on striking it rich. Let's start with the basics. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first year the U.S. Mint switched from 90% silver to a copper nickel-clad coin. Basically, they took the shiny stuff out and hoped no one would notice. Spoiler alert, people noticed. Now here's where it gets juicy. During the transition, a few quarters were accidentally struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These are known as transitional errors, and they are rarer than a pineapple on a pizza. In Italy, only a handful of these silver 1965 quarters are known to exist, and when one of them popped up at auction, it sold for a jaw-dropping $91,000. That's right, folks, someone cashed in one single coin for more than the average American salary. So what do you look for first? Grab a Scalia regular 1965 clad quarter. Should weigh about 5.67 grams, but if you've got one of these unicorns, it'll weigh closer to 6.25 grams. That little extra weight means silver, and that little extra silver means big-time money-o. And check the edge too. If you see a solid silver edge instead of that telltale copper stripe, that's another big clue. Now, I promised you a story, so here it is. A few years back, I was helping my uncle clean out his junk drawer. You know, the one, it had a broken flashlight, 3 random keys that opened nothing, and a whole pile of coins. I was about to toss the quarters into the coin jar when one of them caught my eye. No mint mark 1965, looked kinda shiny. I weighed it just for fun, 6.2 grams. My heart did a triple backflip. I thought I had won the lottery. Turned out it was just gunk on the scale, and the coin was normal. Still hurts to talk about it, but hey, better safe than sorry, right? So here's the deal. That boring-looking 1965 quarter in your change might not be boring at all. It could be your golden ticket, well, silver ticket, but you get the idea. Always check your coins, weigh them, inspect them, and do a little Research. You never know when lightning might strike your coin jar. If you found this video helpful or even just mildly entertaining, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. I post videos all the time about coins that are secretly worth money. You don't want to miss out. Hit like, drop a comment if you've ever found something valuable in your change, and don't forget to ring that bell so you stay in the know. We're talking about the 1980 Washington quarter with the P mint mark. Yep, the one you probably tossed in the couch cushions or used to pay for parking. That same coin could be your ticket to early retirement or at least a killer vacation in the Bahamas. Stick around because we're going to break down what makes this coin special, why collectors are throwing serious cash at it, and how you can find one too. Alright, so let's start with the basics. The 1980 Washington quarter was struck in Philadelphia, and that's why it has the P mint mark right above the date. Now here's the thing, millions of these were made, so why is one worth over 90,000 bucks? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and something we coin nerds call eye appeal. That's basically a fancy way of saying it looks real good, no scratches, no wear, full sharp details like the George Washington version of flawless skin and perfect lighting. The $91,000 coin we're talking about was graded MS67 by a top grading service. That's basically the supermodel status of quarters. It's pristine, like it just walked out the mint, wearing sunglasses and holding a latte. And here's a wild twist, sometimes it's not just the grade, sometimes errors make these coins insanely valuable, like off-center strikes, double dies, or a freak misprint where George looks like he's melting into the background. Those mistakes turn regular quarters into jackpot coins. Now I gotta tell you a quick story. Last summer I was helping my grandma clean out her junk drawer, the drawer we all have with old batteries, dried up pens, and mystery keys that open literally nothing anyway. I found a small jar of quarters tucked under some birthday cards and expired coupons. Just for fun, I grabbed a magnifying glass, and guess what? There it was, a 1980 quarter with the P mint mark. My heart did that cartoon thump thing. I swear now, spoiler alert, mine was scratched up worse than a toddler's favorite DVD. So no, I didn't get 91 grand, but the thrill of the hunt was real. And now I check every quarter like I'm Indiana Jones on a mission. So how can you find one like the jackpot coin? First, check your loose change. Yes, seriously, that change cup in your car could be your gold mine. Next, hit up garage sales, flea markets, even coin rolls from the bank. Some of the best finds come from the most random places. And if you think you found one in excellent shape, don't guess, take it to a professional grader, because even a 1-point difference in grade can mean thousands of dollars. So there you have it, folks. The 1980 P mint mark Washington quarter might be chilling in your wallet or hanging out with some dusty pennies in a drawer, and it could be worth as much as 91,000 bucks. Moral of the story, check your change before you spend it. That quarter you just used on a gumball machine might have been your next down payment. If you enjoyed this video and you want to learn more about coins worth serious money and strategies to turn your pocket change into real value, make sure to smash that subscribe button, tap the like, and turn on the bell so you never miss a tip. We've got more coin stories, more money-making tips, and probably a few more grandma stories coming your way. We're diving into the wild world of the 1983 P mint mark Washington quarter, and why one of these babies sold for over 90 grand. So grab that change jar off the dresser and dump it out, because we're about to go treasure hunting. And hey, if you're new here, welcome to the channel where we talk coins that can make you richer than your grandma's fruitcake recipe. Let's roll. Alright, so let's talk about this mysterious 1983 P mint quarter. First things first, the P stands for the Philadelphia Mint. In 1983, something strange happened. The US Mint did not release mint sets that year. That means coins from circulation are basically the only way to get your hands on them today. And as you might guess, most of the quarters from that year have had a rough life. Pockets, vending machines, junk drawers, kids biting them because they saw it in a cartoon. But here's where it gets juicy. There's one particular 1983 P quarter that was struck perfectly on a flawless planchet. That's coin speak for the metal disc before it gets stamped. It also had full strike details, razor-sharp edges, and surfaces so clean you'd think it just came from a coin spa day. This unicorn of a quarter sold at auction for $91,000. Yep, $91,000. Let me just say that again so your couch cushions hear it. A quarter sold for $91K. Now, before you start flipping every coin like you're auditioning for a heist movie, let's break down what makes one of these quarters valuable. Number 1, condition. Your coin needs to be in mint state. That means barely touched, practically untouched, like don't even breathe on it, levels of clean. Number 2, full strike details. We're talking strong rim definition, bold lettering, no weak spots. This is like judging coins on how photogenic they are. You want a coin that shows up looking like a model on picture day. Number 3, no damage. No scratches, nicks, or the weird thing I did as a kid where I tried to make Lincoln look cooler with a pen. Yeah, those coins are not paying anyone's mortgage. Now you're probably wondering, how rare is this $91,000 quarter? Let me tell you a little story. So last year, I was digging through a box of coins I had stashed in my closet. You know the one, the dusty shoebox labeled random stuff, that somehow contains everything from your 7th grade report card to that one AA battery you swore was still good. Anyway, I start looking through the quarters and bam, I find a 1983 P.My heart does a little backflip. I grab a loop. That's a fancy word for magnifying glass, but saying loop makes me feel like a pirate or an old-timey jeweler, and I start inspecting it. Full strike? And not really. Surface quality? Couple scratches. Still, I was so pumped that I took it to a local coin dealer. He looks at it and goes, "This is worth about 25 cents. Ouch." But the moral of the story? I wouldn't have even known to check if I hadn't gotten into coin collecting. That one trip sparked a full-blown hobby. Now I'm that person who asks for change at the gas station just to check the dates. And if one of those checks ever turns into a $91,000 jackpot, I promise I'll still come back and tell you all about it. So the next time you get change back from a drive-thru, don't just chuck it in the cup holder. Take a peek. That plain old 1983 quarter could be your ticket to a new car, or at least a really ridiculous number of tacos. And hey, if you love the idea of coins being worth more than what they say, or you just enjoy treasure hunting without needing a shovel, this is the channel for you. Smash that subscribe button like it owes you money, tap the like button if you've ever checked your pocket change, and drop a comment below if you think you've got a 1983 P quarter hiding somewhere. Who knows, you might be sitting on a small fortune. Thanks for watching, and remember, check your change. It might just change your life. We're diving into the mysterious and money-making world of the 1990 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin. Alright, first let's talk basics. The 1990 Washington quarter was minted in the good old USA, with Denver responsible for millions of them. So what makes one single coin jump from 25 cents to life-changing jackpot status? It all comes down to condition, rarity, and a little bit of collector craziness. Now, most 1990 D quarters are only worth face value. Seriously, they're everywhere. You've probably handed one over to a vending machine recently and didn't think twice, but there are a few ultra-rare examples in perfect mint state that are graded MS67 or higher. That's mint state. For those who aren't deep into the coin lingo, in plain English, it means the coin looks like it just time-traveled straight from the mint without a single scratch, fingerprint, or taco sauce stain. Only a handful of these beauties exist in such pristine condition, and because collectors go nuts over coins that look brand spanking new, some of these 1990 D quarters have sold for as much as $91,000. That's right, $91K, for something that used to sit at the bottom of your grandma's purse next to the old mints and a tangled hairpin. Let me tell you a quick story. I was visiting my uncle last summer, helping him clean out his garage. You know, the usual boxes of tools, weird jars full of rusty screws, and an old coffee can full of change. I almost dumped the whole thing into a Coinstar machine. But something told me to look through it first. Maybe it was fate, or maybe I was just procrastinating. Either way, there it was, a shiny 1990 D quarter. It looked flawless, I swear. The coin winked at me. Now, no, I didn't win the 91 grand jackpot that time, but that coin still sold for 50 bucks online just for being super clean. Can you imagine if it had been a true MS67? I'd be filming this video from a yacht, eating tacos served on gold plates. So what should you be looking for if you want to strike coin gold? One, check for the D Mint mark just right of Washington's ponytail. 2, look at the coin's condition. If it looks like it's been in a bar fight, it's probably not the one we're talking about. You want sharp details, shiny surface, and no wear. 3, consider getting it graded by a legit company like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly how pristine your coin is and give it a grade that collectors trust. And 4, always trust your gut. If a coin stands out to you, don't spend it just yet. It could be worth more than your car. Alright, treasure hunters, that's the scoop on the 1990 D Washington quarter, the one coin that proves even small change can make a big impact, literally from pocket lint to prestige. So next time you're about to hand over a quarter for a gas station snack, pause for a second, take a peek. You might be holding on to your next vacation or retirement fund. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins worth serious money plus a few laughs along the way, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss out on the next hidden gem hiding in your change jar. And hey, leave a comment if you've ever found a rare coin or think you might have one. I'd love to hear your stories. We're diving into one specific coin that has people freaking out, the 1992 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Spoiler alert, it could be worth up to $91,000. Yes, you read that right. So, if you've got one of these hiding in your piggy bank, you might just be sitting on a small fortune. Stick around because I'm going to break down how to spot one of these bad boys and why it's worth so much. And hey, if you like what you hear, don't forget to smash that subscribe button for more tips on coins worth money. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, let's start with the basics. You've got your standard 1992 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. Nothing super special about it, right? But here's where things get juicy. There's a rare variation of this coin that's worth a lot. How much? Well, the current market value can reach a whopping $91,000. Yup, you could be holding a coin that could pay off your student loans, buy you a new car, or, just make you the envy of your entire neighborhood. But what makes this coin so valuable? It's all about a mistake, or rather, an error. During the minting process in 1992, a small batch of these quarters got struck with a D mint mark on the wrong die, making them rare and sought after by collectors. These are known as the 1992 D close AM quarters. Now, you might be wondering, how do I know if I've got one of these rare coins? Well, let me break it down for you. First, look at the back of the coin. Specifically, check out the AM in America on the reverse side. On a regular 1992 D quarter, the A and M should be pretty far apart. But on this error coin, they're almost touching, hence the name Close AM. It's like the coin had a little too much coffee and just wanted to get up close and personal. Here's the kicker. If you've got a quarter where the A and M are practically hugging, congrats, you've got a rare one. But before you start running to the bank with your newfound treasure, there are a couple of things to keep in mind. First off, just because it looks like a close AM doesn't mean it's automatically worth $91,000. Condition matters. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin in mint condition can fetch top dollar, but if yours is worn out, it might not be worth nearly as much. That's why it's always a good idea to get it professionally graded if you think you've got a winner.so. What do you do if you think you've got one? You're not going to want to take it to your local pawn shop unless you're really feeling lucky. Instead, you'll want to find a reputable coin dealer or auction house. Trust me, it's worth doing the research, and who knows, you could be looking at a nice payday. Now, I know what you're thinking. I don't have a 1992 D close AM quarter. I'm just stuck with my regular, not-so-glamorous quarters. Hey, I've been there. I remember when I thought I had a rare coin, and it turned out to be a total dud. I was convinced I had struck gold, only to find out I was holding a coin that, at best, was worth a handful of change. But that's the fun of coin collecting. You never know what you might find next. And hey, if you've got any coins lying around that you think might be valuable, take a good look. You never know when your next hidden gem might pop up. So, there you have it. The 1992 D Mint Mark Washington quarter with the close AM error could be worth a massive $91,000 if you've got one in great condition. But remember, condition is key, and always get your coin professionally graded before jumping the gun. If you've learned something new today or you're feeling a little more excited about going through your change, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on rare coins, how to spot valuable ones, and strategies to turn your pocket change into treasure. So don't miss out. Join the coin collecting crew. And hey, if you ever find one of these rare quarters, let me know. I'd love to hear your stories, and maybe we can celebrate together when you cash in. What if I told you that your loose change could be worth a small fortune? Sounds too good to be true, right? But hold on to your pennies, because today, we're talking about a coin that might just make you rethink that dusty jar of quarters sitting on your desk. Yup, we're diving into the 1995 D Mint Mark Washington quarter. And guess what? This little guy could be worth a whopping $91,000. Yeah, you heard me, $91,000. So, grab that cup of coffee, maybe a snack. You'll need it after hearing this. And let's get into it. All right, let's rewind a bit. You know how you're always told, don't spend your change, it could be worth something. Well, if you've got a 1995 D Washington quarter in your collection, or in that jar buried in your couch cushions, your change may just be worth more than your morning coffee. Now, you might be thinking, hold on a second. I've got a few 1995 quarters laying around. Does this mean I'm sitting on a fortune? Well, not exactly. But you could be. So, let's break it down. This beauty right here, your standard 1995 D Washington quarter, might look like just another coin in your pocket, but if it's got a rare error minting, it could fetch you a serious payday. Now, you're probably wondering, what makes this quarter so special? Well, in 1995, the US Mint messed up big time. A small number of these quarters were mistakenly struck with a double die reverse. This means that the image on the back of the quarter, specifically the eagle and the words, was stamped twice, creating this cool, almost blurry, doubled look. It's a rare mistake, and collectors go wild for it. I remember my first encounter with one of these error coins. I was at a coin show a couple of years ago, just casually flipping through some bins of quarters when I saw this 1995 D Washington quarter. It didn't have that crisp, clean stamp like the others. Something was off. I didn't think much of it at first, but then I showed it to an expert on a whim, and his eyes nearly popped out of his head. He took one look at it and said, "This could easily be worth thousands." I thought, whoa, hold up. I've got a treasure sitting here and didn't even know it. I'm sure some of you are sitting there thinking, so, should I go on a hunt for these coins? Here's the thing, yes, it's worth looking. But like I said, the 1995 D double die quarters are rare. We're talking a few hundred of them out there. So, if you've got one, you're basically holding a small piece of history in your hands. Now, don't go running to the bank just yet, assuming every 1995 D quarter is worth $91,000. There's a whole process of verifying these coins that make them valuable. You'll want to have it authenticated by a professional coin grader to really know what you're working with. And yes, I know $91,000 sounds like a wild claim, but that's the upper end of what these error coins have been known to go for in the market. Some might go for less, depending on the condition, but still, can you imagine finding one in your pocket change? One lucky person did, and that's exactly what it sold for. It's like winning the lottery, only with quarters. So, if you've got a 1995 D quarter lying around, it might just be time to take a closer look. If you spot that double die reverse error, you could be sitting on some serious cash. But remember, not all quarters are created equal. So take it to a professional, get it verified, and who knows, you could be the next person turning their loose change into a small fortune. Before you go running to check your change jar, though, do me a favor. If you want more tips on coins worth money and how to spot hidden treasures, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons of videos lined up that could help you make your collection go from meh to wow. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And as always, happy hunting. We're talking about the 1996 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar. And if you've got one lying around, you might just have a small fortune sitting in your pocket. Yes, you heard that right. The value of this coin right now could be a jaw-dropping $91,000. I know it sounds like a wild rumor, but stick with me. I've got the inside scoop, and trust me, you'll want to keep watching because your next coin might just be the jackpot you never saw coming. Now, let's break this down. The 1996 D Washington quarter is one of those coins that doesn't look special at first glance. It's a standard quarter. But here's the kicker. It's got a very rare and very important error. You see, the coin was supposed to have a mint mark, but there was a tiny, strange mistake during the minting process. The coin came out missing the D mint mark, something that, at first, was practically impossible to spot. It's like buying a new car and realizing there's an extra door. That's how rare and unexpected this coin is. But here's where the magic happens. Because of this minting error, the value of the 1996 D quarter skyrocketed. And we're not talking about just a few bucks. We're talking about $91,000. Now, I know what you're thinking. Okay, how do I know if I've got one of these golden tickets? Well, it's all about looking closely. The key giveaway is that the coin should look identical to a standard 1996 quarter. No extra details, no fancy stuff. If it's got the D mint mark, that's not the one we're after. The one you want will be the missing D. Basically the ghost mint mark coin that I'll admit, I didn't know about this particular quarter until a few years ago. I was cleaning out my old change jar, you know, the one that's been sitting in the closet collecting dust. And I found what I thought was just a regular old quarter. But something felt off, so I Googled it, as one does when they're not sure if their penny is worth $10,000 or 10 cents. Turns out, I found one of these rare quarters, and I was this close to cashing it in. Luckily, I did my homework first, and that's why I'm sharing this gem of a find with you all today. But wait, don't just go running to check every quarter you find. Even though the coin's value can be impressive, it's not like every 1996 D is going to get you a $91,000 payday. You've got to find the right one, the one with no mint mark. The more pristine the condition, the more likely you're going to get top dollar. If it's been through the ringer in a change jar, you're going to have to manage expectations. But still, a few $100 for a coin you got for 25 cents? Not too shabby. So what's the takeaway? If you have a 1996 D Washington quarter with no mint mark, congratulations. My friend, you might just have something worth a small fortune. Remember to check your coins before you toss them into your change jar because you never know when you could discover something truly valuable. Before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on coins worth money and strategies for finding hidden gems. So don't miss out. You'll want to be the first to know when I post more valuable coin discoveries. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, drop a comment with your own coin hunting experiences, and hey, if you've got a 1996 D quarter, show it off. Who knows, you could be sitting on a gold mine. We're diving into a coin that might just make you look at your pocket change in a whole new way. And no, it's not a gold coin or some ancient relic. It's the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter, and it could be worth, drumroll, please, a jaw-dropping $91,000. Yeah, you heard that right. So, before you toss that quarter into your laundry pile, let's talk about why you definitely should hold on to it. What makes the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter so valuable? Well, you might be thinking, hey, isn't that just one of those coins that comes with your change every time you grab a coffee? And usually, yes. But here's the kicker. In 1998, the US Mint accidentally produced a super rare batch of quarters. These bad boys weren't made with the usual mint marks we're used to seeing. They have a P Mint mark, which means they were struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The twist? Some of these quarters were released into circulation with a super rare and highly sought-after error. We're talking about the double die reverse. That means some parts of the design, like the eagle on the back, were accidentally struck twice, giving it a cool double-layered effect. Now, why is this important? Well, as with most things in life, rarity is key. People go crazy for this stuff. The combination of the mint error and the fact that not many of these 1998 P quarters are out there means you've got something potentially worth a serious chunk of change. But here's where it gets interesting. Many people don't realize the potential value sitting in their change jar. I'll admit, I've been there. A few years ago, I was going through a bunch of loose coins I had in a jar. You know, the one that's a mix of pennies, nickels, and probably a few foreign coins. I found a coin that looked just like any other, but it had some weird details. I thought, meh, it's probably not worth much. Long story short, I did a little research, and it turned out to be a 1969 S penny with a rare error. Sold it for a nice amount. So, yeah, sometimes it's easy to overlook coins, but the key is knowing what to look for, and today you're getting the scoop on one of the most valuable quarters around. Now, if you're thinking, all right, this all sounds great, but how do I even know if my 1998 P quarter is the real deal? Well, first, take a look at the back of your quarter. If you spot the eagle with some funky double lines, that's your clue. If the design looks a bit fuzzy or has double parts, you might just have a treasure on your hands. But here's the thing, you gotta check that mint mark too. If it's a P and you've got that error, you could be holding a coin that could go for big bucks. Seriously, it's like finding a needle in a haystack. But let's talk money because that's what we're all here for, right? If you do find one of these rare 1998 P quarters with the error, you're looking at an estimated value of up to $91,000. Now, I know that sounds like a lottery win, but it's real, folks. A few of these coins have actually been sold for that insane price. The trick is condition matters. The better the condition, the more you can sell it for. You want that coin to be in excellent shape, preferably uncirculated. So, don't go throwing it in your coin jar next to all the pennies like I did with my mistake. I mean, who doesn't love a good find? Alright, folks. I hope you're as hyped as I am about this 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter. The next time you get a quarter, take a second look before you just hand it over for that vending machine snack. Who knows? You might just have your ticket to a serious payday. Before I go, here's a little secret. This coin discovery is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to valuable, rare coins that are hiding in plain sight. So, if you want to learn more tips and tricks for finding coins that are worth big money, hit that subscribe button, and let's keep this coin hunt going together. Host, thanks for hanging out with me today. And remember, whether it's quarters, pennies, or dimes, never underestimate the value of your pocket change.